Chapter 12. Back at home. Each of them opened their eyes slowly. They were back in their rooms. Their alarms were going off. Simon went to the edge of his bunk bed and looked down. Kenny was trying to close his eyes to go back to sleep. "Kenny! Kenny!" Simon whispered. Kenny opened his right eye with a scrunched up face. "What? Did you just have the same dream I had?" Kenny opened his other eye and thought for a moment. "I don't know," he said, rubbing his eyes. "I remember tiny monkeys who were lots of different colours." "The Unimegas!" said Simon excitedly. "Yeah," said Kenny. Sarah knocked on their door. "Come in," Simon whispered. Once she was in their room, she pushed the door too. "Did you both have the same dream last night?" she asked. "We think so," said Simon. "I was there too. We know. You were sitting on a gigantic pug, like Coco, but it had 6 legs," Kenny said, more and more the dream starting to come back. "What do you think it means?" Sarah asked. "Maybe it was just a dream," Kenny suggested. "But I've dreamt about it before," said Simon, "before you both arrived." "When did you have that?" Kenny asked. "A couple of nights ago," Simon replied. "So what do we do?" Sarah asked. "Do we tell anyone?" "No, we can't tell anyone," said Simon. "Not until we know what it is." "Yeah, otherwise people will just think we're crazy," said Kenny. "People already think you're crazy," Sarah joked. "Hey!" Kenny exclaimed, frowning. "Kids!" Mum's voice called out from down the hallway. "Are you up?" she asked. "Yes," Simon called out. "We'll talk about this later," he said quietly to the other two. "Okay," Sarah whispered. She pulled the door and snuck back into her room. They got ready for school and had their breakfast. They giggled at each other and everything seemed normal. Occasionally, throughout the day, their minds would wander to the land of dreams that they had all been in together the night before. Sarah had asked one of her friends about any strange dreams she had had. Her friend told her about a dream of riding on unicorns with wings, but it didn't sound anything like Nubaganda. Mum picked the twins up after school. During the day, they had gradually forgotten about the strange dream from the night before. They were too busy with paying attention in class and playing with friends during break and at lunch. Sarah had a new boyfriend, who was also Kenny's best friend. Simon cycled home from his school and arrived just after the others, slightly out of breath and strands of his hair wafting in the breeze. "Simon!" Sarah shouted when he opened the door. "Hi!" he said as he kicked off his shoes and added them to the pile of shoes by the door. He came in from the porch area and threw his bag on the floor. He unclipped his helmet and put it on top of his bag. Coco ran towards him and then started sniffing the bag. Kenny came running down the stairs, still in his school uniform. "Come on, let's play the game," he said, picking up the small football. "No, I don't feel like it," Simon replied. Mum came out of the kitchen. "Have you done your homework?" she asked Kenny, who was closest. He replied, trying to think. "No games until you finished your homework," Mum said, as she carried her hot water bottles for her back to her nook in the sofa. As she sat down, Coco ran over to her and leaped up next to her on the sofa. After he had made himself comfortable, he lay his head on her legs. "Aww," Kenny moaned half-heartedly, not really interested in doing more work after being at school all day. Mum gave him a look. "Okay," he conceded, dropping the small football on the ground. Both he and Sarah went to the table to do their homework. "What's the matter, Simon?" Mum asked, sensing something wasn't quite right with him. Simon sighed and moped over next to her and sat on the sofa. "You know Daniel?" he began. "Yes," she replied. She knew that Simon and Daniel had been best friends for a few years now. "He said he's leaving," he said in a soft voice. "Why did he say that?" Mum asked, not sure what he really meant. His dad got a new job, and he said they're moving next month. Oh, Mum said, giving him a gentle squeeze. I'm sure you'll still be able to stay in touch, and we can arrange for you both to see each other. I guess, Simon said, with sadness in his voice. Coco lifted his head and moved over to Simon, licking his face. Oh, Coco! Simon exclaimed, pulling away, while Mum chuckled. I don't want your licky end! He wiped the slobber off of his face. Does someone have a licky end? Mum asked the dog as he yawned with his tongue out. Sarah came running into the room and over to Coco, rubbing his head. Does someone have a licky end? She giggled as she started to lift him. Sarah, said Mum, stop lifting him up and go and finish your homework. But he's so cute, she said as she ruffled the fur on top of his head. Homework, now, Mum said firmly but nicely. I'll be in soon to check. Sarah turned and went back to the other room to finish off her homework. Simon snuggled back up to Mum. We can see if Daniel can come and stay over before they go, Mum suggested. Simon's face perked up at the thought. Yes, and we can sleep in the tent and make a den. So do you have any homework? Mum asked him, knowing that he would. A little, he replied. You can get it done now and then have the rest of the evening to relax. Okay, he said, a bit more energetically as he got up from the sofa. He picked up his bag and dragged it into the other room. Mum spent a few more minutes on the sofa with her hot water bottles, which helped her back feel a little less painful. She got up and was soon followed by Coco, her shadow, as she walked the length of the living room to the back room where the three were doing their homework. How about pizza for dinner? She asked, knowing it was their favourite. Yeah! They all replied as they looked up from their papers with grins on their faces. When they went to bed that night, all three of them had been so busy thinking about the events of the day that none of them had thought about Nubaganda, although, right before Simon drifted off to sleep, he remembered that they were on a mission to find the other two orbs.